Okay, good afternoon and welcome to Sydney Olympic Park Hockey Centre. We're above pitch 2 for today's International Men's Masters exhibition match. Ian Jessup here on the mic. I've got Lachlan Morley with me on the other mic. We're looking for some good early pre-season hockey here before the Pro League kicks off later today. Lachlan, could you take our listeners through, please, the format of today's special match?
Thank you, Ian. Excellent to join you here for what should be a great exhibition of Sydney Masters hockey. Well, what we basically have, we have a game here to showcase the best of Sydney Masters. We have a team of those from Australia and representing Australia versus a team of players from all other corners of the globe. Australian team, of course, in their green and gold strip. The international team in the red and black on the right of the screen. So we have an over 35s and an over 45s element to this. We'll be splitting the quarters up, I should say, in 7 and 8 minute blocks. 35s to 49s, I should say, and then an over 50s element. So the 35s to 49s will be playing 8 minutes of each quarter. The 50s and over will be playing 7 minutes. We have some modified rules as we go. You'll see those, for example, if the short corners, which must come outside the 5-yard dot. But look, predominantly we're just going to see some expressive hockey. Should be fairly open. I think everyone is here for a good time. First hit out of the year for most of these guys, and look, wouldn't mind being out there with them.
Yes, it's nice weather here at Sydney Olympic Park. It's pretty sticky, as we often get in February. Quite humid, temps in the mid-20s. Certainly a lot less than was about 10 days ago. The long-range forecast said it could have been high 30s, so it'll be quite muggy. We have a decent breeze blowing across pitch 2. If the game had been on Olympic, it might have been a bit stuffier down as it is sunken below ground level. As Lachlan was saying, lots of players here. All the players in the Australian team, bar Brent Livermore, who's a special guest invitee today, all of those play in the Sydney Masters competition. All have represented New South Wales Men's Masters and played for Australia in Men's Masters in various age groups. So at New South Wales level, for example, teams go away each year to the Nationals, age groups from over 34s all the way up to over 75s. You'll see some of the older players here today sporting a few frosty tops on their heads and still keeping good skills and good fitness up right throughout the age groups. In the Sydney competition, the Sydney Men's Masters, we have 31 teams in 5 divisions. This year we'll have a new Club East coming into Premier League. That'll be 7 teams, all the others have 6 teams each. So there are 14 clubs across the 31 teams in Sydney Men's Masters. 9 of those clubs are represented here today. Once we introduce the players and the match goes on, don't do a double take or think I'm seeing double here if you happen to spot the same number on a player's shirt. We have a couple of number 1s, for example. The players are wearing the shirts that they wore in their most recent Australian representation. So for the vast majority, that will be the World Cups that were held last year in October in South Africa and in New Zealand in November. Just bear with us if you get a little bit of static in the mics coming through. We've got a little bit of breeze up here elevated above pitch 2. We'll try and keep our mics covered. Lachlan, what else have we got in rule variations to standard hockey? We've got them on page 2 of our playing guide here, apart from corners having to go outside the dotted line, so there's no direct shot from top D. What else have we got happening here today?
Well, look, a trend in recent years in international hockey, overheads into the attacking circle. That's not on today. We're just going to give that a miss. And look, if the match is drawn at the end, there will be a shootout. It'll be 3 from each side, 1-on-1 from the 25-yard line in the 35 to 49 division, and in the over 50s, it will be best of 3 penalty strokes, 6 attempts.
You play very high standard here in Sydney, Lachlan. I'm interested to hear you expand a little bit on that overhead. We've seen since the last Olympics or maybe the last World Cup, FIH sort of loosened very much its interpretation on a ball raised into the circle. And if you're watching a lot of international hockey and now state like Hockey 1, etc., you'll see a lot more overheads thrown into the circle where the defender now has to basically give 5 metres of free ground to the attacker receiving the ball, provided they're some distance away and it's not falling directly into danger. And that has opened up a situation where a defender in a circle is not actually allowed legally to make a challenge on the player receiving the ball.
Yeah, look, it's a funny one. I'm unsure what the thinking is behind that interpretation. Maybe it's just a general will to see more goals scored. But I mean, you look at the way Australia approached their game against the Netherlands 2 nights ago. They were constantly overlapping wide and putting men along at the back line to receive those balls. There was even quite a controversial goal for Australia from the Dutch perspective anyway, where they actually, where it was sent up for review, an Australian player receiving the ball on the run, on the full in the circle and putting it into the back of the net. So look, I guess it makes for some exciting play, but also a lot of angst and confusion from the defensive units.
I saw that replay of that goal, and the Dutch defender was 3 to 4 metres from the Australian receiver who took that ball down from the air, and there was no chance of a clash or any danger in the Australian player receiving. But again, it's open to interpretation. As we see at lower levels in club hockey, the umpires can have different interpretations as to what's dangerous, what's not. The other danger that I see in that loosening up of the overhead into the circle is that if you're a defender and you have to keep your 5, and strictly speaking, you've got to keep your 5 until such time as the ball is brought to ground and controlled, not just received, is that if you're standing your 5, the defender traps it, can basically unleash a shot at goal, and you will not have time to react or defend if it's coming straight at you at any kind of height.
Yeah, it certainly opens up some extra danger. I don't know if the game really needs that. But look, it is quite exciting when you see a defender pushing up to take the free hit, say between the 25 and halfway, and lobbing it to that higher striker. It creates a lot of great highlights for the game. And I guess on balance, I do like to see it.
It's good to see it. It seems to me from watching Pro League, Olympics, World Cup the last 2 years in particular, European teams have employed it from the get-go, and it seems to from my perspective, it's detracted a lot from that smooth, sharp passing game out ground level that we love seeing, and 4, 5, 6, 7 passes strung together. Talking to friends who play soccer and big fans of soccer and may not have kept up in all the rule changes of hockey over the years, I've said, we got rid of offside after the 96 Olympics in Atlanta. They go, well, isn't it easy just to score goals? You just stick 7 guys up the end of the field. I said, well, no, not really, because defenders can pull back, which then theoretically opens up more space in the midfield. So likewise, if you're looking to throw overheads regularly and the defenders go back, you do have potentially more midfield space.
Yeah, it's an interesting one too, because we had that phase of hockey maybe 10 to 15 years ago where a corner was basically a 80% chance of scoring, and we saw some pretty high scoring games, and we saw some teams rack up cricket scores against some I guess lesser squads. The defence then stepped up to match that, firstly defending the circle in the first place, but then also defending the penalty corner. And this sort of trend of overheads into the circle, it seems like just like the next step in that evolution of skills and tactics.
And trying to encourage more field goals. The risk then also is that we want to see more field goals and not just goals from corners. But the risk then also is if the long ball's thrown and the defender then soon engages, they can give away a corner that way. So it's sort of half of one, half of the other.
You can be pretty rough on the defence though. Like I've seen umpires actually call who has the drop of the ball, and that's really good of them to do so, because look, so often you do see me think, well, it's just a toss of the coin, you know.
And umpires being proactive and in that, as you say, in those situations, saying red, keep out of it, it's yellow ball, lets everyone know exactly where they are. The defender doesn't have to look in the air, look on the ground to see where their player is, look to see where teammates are covering. Just helps it. We're just going to have some introductions now on the field. Our Sydney Masters President Greg Kay is about to do a brief welcome, and you can see the players with their backs to us, the lovely green and gold of Australia, and the internationals in the red with a couple of black stripes.
ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. Welcome to Sydney Olympic Park for this International Masters exhibition game. I'd just like to thank Hockey Australia Masters Committee and Hockey Australia, Pat Hall, I think somewhere here, for endorsing this match as part of the last day of the Pro League. I want to especially thank our sponsors, Mark Berwick from Hawkesbury Brewing, for the after-match hospitality, to C Sport, the live stream, to Luke Domro and your team. Thank you guys. And to Ian Jessup and Lachlan Morley up in the stands there who will be commentating this game. There's been a lot of interest from right across the country and even from overseas. So thank you guys for your support. Also to the Sydney Olympic Park Authority for allowing us to be part of this. I'd just also like to thank the officials here today, David Coles, Mark Wiegerhoff, our umpires for today. Also our medical team, Ross Swadling. To our support team officials on the field for the guys. So firstly to Mark Matheson and Godfrey Phillips, OAM. Thank you guys for your support of the team, the guys. For the Australian guys, Carolyn Campbell has been many years as manager, and so we thank you, Carolyn. And to our ambassador, Simon Orchard. So thanks for being involved today, guys. I'd just like quickly to introduce the teams before we start. I also like to say thank you to all the families who support the players in our many years and journeys of Masters hockey and even before. So thank you for your support and effort over many years. So quickly, just the world team, Sasha Overhoff, Jay Van Song, Mark Berwick, Tesh Canola, Moshin, Chris Suri, Greg Painter, Dom D'Souza, Brendan Key, Kevin Rule, Adnam from Pakistan, Caden, Adrian Jones, Rebel Waitman, Roger van der Zanden. Here's our Dutch representative for this year, Alex Jones, James Mortman, Harvey Singh. Again, we've already introduced Mark Matheson and Godfrey Phillips. So that's our world team, guys. Again, all these guys play Masters hockey in Sydney, and they represent the countries they've originally from heritage on. Cody Tribe, Matt Burton, James Fordham, Dougal Alexander, Dan Brady, Peter Cooner, Al Charlton, Greg Cook, Paul Newton, Brian Doherty, Noel French, Dave Campbell, Mark Brookfield, Brett Giffen, Stewie Farquharson, Robbie Muir, Andre Cabral. We've got a ring in here, folks. Brett Livermore, OAM, Olympian, former Kookaburra captain, over 300 caps, will be playing for the Australian side, and Carolyn and Simon. So that's the teams. Hope you enjoy the game. This game today is all about showcasing Masters hockey. It's about enjoyment, and it's about safety and everyone healthy at the end of the game. So thank you. Hope you appreciate it. If the guys would just like to go that way and shake hands and then go and do the loop to the other side. And we'll get underway in 5 minutes.
So a big thank you to Greg Kay, the President of Sydney Masters Hockey Association, and our on-field MC for this afternoon. A lot of great names in each lineup, aren't there, Ian?
There are, and people who've been playing Masters hockey for many, many years, play club hockey as well. A lot of these guys, don't forget, not just playing Masters only, they're playing, still playing Saturday weekend hockey, or if they're playing in some of the regional associations, it'll be Sunday, as a lot of the men do there. Part of the great thing about Masters hockey is if you're in your 30s or 40s, or for whatever reason, family commitments or anything takes you away from weekend hockey, in Sydney, I know in Newcastle, in Canberra, in some of the other cities around our wonderful country, they do have masters competitions. So if you haven't played for a while, or you've got family commitments, or you think you might be able to get out every second Wednesday night or Tuesday night and you're in the Sydney Basin, give us a call, get in touch, we'll put you in a team. The Australian team just having a run through here. They're bright yellow. And the international's just coming towards the camera now as we see it. Just if the match is drawn, as Lachlan did say there, with a shootout, in our Sydney competition and also in the New South Wales Masters State Champs, the younger age groups still have an 8-second limit on their shootout. Some of the middle age groups are given 10 seconds to reflect the slowing of players as they age, and the older age groups have 12 seconds. I know there's some talk at the older age groups at Nationals and that they might, instead of have a shootout where the players are a lot slower and older, they may go back to penalty strokes instead. So we've mixed that up a little bit today for the purpose of this. Speaking of penalty strokes, we all remember that heartache at Sydney 2000 when Brent missed the penalty stroke in the semi-final against Holland, and the Dutch went through and drew that game as well and won on penalties. And if you've missed a shot at goal in your club game and you feel terrible, we can only imagine how Brent must have felt after that. But what joy he must have felt 4 years later in Athens when he was on the winning team finally for the Kookaburras.
Yeah, no need for penalty strokes on that occasion. Still go back and watch those highlights from time to time, Ian. One of my all-time favourite sporting memories as a kid.
I remember it was semi-final day here in Sydney weekend hockey at that time, and I was up at 6 a.m. something to watch it, and I apologised to the neighbours afterwards because I was screaming my lungs out when Jamie Dwyer sent that penalty corner rocket in for the winner. I had to somehow get some sleep, go out and coach a semi-final at 12:30 and then had my own semi-final at 8 o'clock. I was pretty tired that night. We're about ready for pushback.
Do you remember who scored the other goal for Australia that day?
Yes, I do. Travis Brooks from Victoria,
Yes.
with a cracking backstick shot.
Yeah, received that overlap from Dwyer and put it past the keeper.
All right, so the Australians have opted to throw it deep. Internationals immediately on the attack down the left wing. So if you see players wearing caps, they are wearing the soft peak caps, which are allowed. The hard peak caps are not allowed in hockey. There's too great a risk of injury. That's Harvey Singh around the back from Barbarians in the local Sydney comp, Premier. So just to remind you again how this is going to work, we've got the over 35 to 49s playing for 8 minutes, and then there's going to be a huge interchanges if you're watching American football, and then we'll have 7 minutes of the over 50s players to complete the quarter of hockey. Brent Livermore in the centre, calling shots. Hasn't lost any stick work speed.
No, well, he still gets around in second grade in the Brisbane comp for his club Labrador.
Here we are, first tomahawk shot off the keeper. It's been ruled to have gone up into the attacker there, so we're going to have a penalty corner. Instead of a direct shot, hit or a flick, we'll play the rule where it's effectively play on and free play, where the ball must come out past the dotted line before a shot has a goal. Got our umpires in bright green. So just looking at some of the players out there, because we've got the names of the entire team from the Australian team. Dougal Alexander from the local Barbarians club is in number 2. Brett Giffen, also from Barbarians, is in number 6. Cody Tribe is in 14. Daniel Brady, 21. We're ready for the push out. Well picked up from Cody Tribe there onto his left. Oh, nice upright backstick. And just going over the back line. Not a skill you see very often. A skill more for old grass players who might not get down all that often, the upright backstick.
I dare say Cody took that strike with a mind to the spirit of this contest, and probably only gave it 60%. I'd say running around for Norwest in first grade, he would have put quite a bit more heat on that.
Yeah, we don't want to see players injured in this. It's they're not playing for sheep stations, so nice inventive play. Here's Dougal, just getting distance, but getting a slight stick check or body check just before that one. Dougal, long time, was with Sydney Uni in this Saturday comp. So you're saying about Brent playing second grade in the Brisbane comp block?
Yeah, he was still playing quite well despite being well north of 40. Absolutely holds his own in that comp, and has done a very good job as first division Labrador coach for a few years now. Reigning premiers. It'll be interesting to see how they go. Good
facility there too.
Yeah, you're definitely down on the Gold Coast, one of the better venues to play in the Brisbane comp.
Side of the Commonwealth Games in 2018. The Australian men won, and the Australian women were upset by New Zealand in the final. Just a bit of sorting out here. We've got two Australian players high in the circle, so just stretching the defence. There's a little bit of space in midfield for Livermore now. Looking for Paul Newton, but he goes to Pete Cooner instead. Might have been a gentle nudge there.
Pete Cooner, of course, part of the victorious St George outfit in the Senior Masters division this year, or in 2014, I should say.
The last 2 years.
Yeah, back to back.
Last year, I think they won by a single goal, and the year before in a shootout at both times against a strong MacArthur side. Those two look to be the ones to beat again this year in Masters. So we're just looking at the clock. We're coming up to 4.5 minutes, so the players on the field have 3.5 minutes. I think we can have, just checking some of our rules here, I think we can have 2 or 3 players on the whole time, but then there will be the substitutions. Internationals is pressing here through left inner. Nice little jink. Little lay off if he wants to take it. Up off the stick, and that'll be into the body. That'll be a short up off Cody. We have quite a sizable breeze blowing through at the moment. It's making the air temperature very pleasant. Might be rustling through our microphones if you can hear it at home, but it'll be nice for the players down on the pitch. May also dry the pitch out a little early, so umpires will keep an eye on that. Let's see what they do on this play. Nice option, no one at the far post, or not close enough. That could have been 1-0 for the Internationals. Looks like Adnan there, not quite getting there. He was 2-3 yards out and may well have thought it was coming flatter. That's a really good option there. I remember when I was covering hockey for the Sydney Olympics in 2000, watching the Australians train, and they were doing the short corner option where you let the ball go out the 5 metres so it's free play and the shot can be any height, especially if hit. And they had an elaborate one when it came out below the dots and then almost went back on the opposite side to the push out to draw the defenders, and then came back to the top and shot. And they did score in the bronze medal game against Pakistan using that option. I can't remember what the rules were back then. It may have been that you needed to trap it inside the circle. The short corner trap rule has changed over the years.
I think that year, that might have been the first year where you didn't have to trap it dead outside.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
We just lost communication there for 15 seconds, a tiny tech malfunction. There's a lovely passage of play by the Australian side up the right side through the right inner channel. There's a save and a push back to the top. And Brent Livermore just very casually had a slap from the top and went head high past the keeper's right into the goal. So we've got 1-0 to the Australians. And we are 20 seconds away from the mass changeover of players for the over 50s to come on and play. So apologies for that small communication gap there. Still plenty of action come to keep you entertained. Yeah, there we now. Dave Cole's umpire now signalling the changeover. Let's see how we go here. Kevin Rule, who's got the yellow socks on for the internationals and the silver hair coming into centre forward, still has one of the most impressive flat hard hits at goal. Often has penalty corner shots for his Manly Gordon team and for New South Wales and Australia. Just an incredibly clean striker of the ball. See my team concede far too many over too many years to Kevin. If they watch out for him, he just hits absolute rockets at ground level too, nice and flat. Sharing a joke there with Andre Cabral. Andre, a much decorated Australian New South Wales player. Oh, an old-fashioned bully. 3 over the stick like it was probably before you were born, locked on the 3 over the stick.
No, I just remember it happening. Certainly not to hit off a game. I never knew that to be the case, actually.
It was always the hit off was a 3-on-3 bully, and then the rules got changed. Not sure what year, to a one tap instead of 3, and sometime later then just got changed to a straight pushback as you would have in soccer. That's Stuart Farquharson just getting tackled on the edge of the D there, getting some heavy work from Andre.
Well, reflecting on some of the old rules, I mean, a lot of these guys would have played in a time when, for a long corner, the defenders had to be behind the back line. Would have played in it during a period where you could stop the ball through the air with your hand. You could trap the ball in the circle on a short corner with your hand.
I loved. I'm old enough to have played with the hand stop. It was fantastic. Back in Wagga junior days, our under-16 team, we had a trial game against the Colts, who were the sort of under-18s or under-19s. The pusher-outer flicked it about 5 metres to the edge of the circle for someone to trap. That person then flicked it to the top D for someone to catch and drop. And then as soon as it hit the ground, this is on grass fields in the country, as soon as it hit the ground, it was a half volley. We did it in a trial game and it nearly took the fullback's head off, and both coaches said, I think that's enough of that, but it was very spectacular. Yes, the old hand stop rule. Nowadays, when the hand stop went out, the rule was still in about sticks. You couldn't trap the ball above your shoulder. Then FIH brought that in as a trial, and it continued. So players these days are allowed to trap the ball over their shoulder with a stick, but you're not allowed to, or not supposed to swing at it. You're supposed to just be passively receiving it. If it's one-on-one with the keeper, you might see a swipe, and we've seen some quite spectacular international goals scored in that fashion.
Oh, even in Hockey 1, the most recent season, I saw a couple. Yeah, when it happens, everyone holds their breath, but you know, the cheer that goes up afterwards.
It's quite spectacular. And at Hockey 1, of course, it's recorded. You can watch it back at club level, unless someone is videoing, you've got no permanent reminder or memory of that spectacular goal. Speaking of Andre here, taking the free at just outside the circle. The first time I encountered Andre was the New South Wales Primary School Sports Champs at Murwillumbah in 1975. So I've known Andre 50 years now. A lovely pass out from Kevin. Looks like Revel Wakeman out there on the left wing. Ooh, just raised in a...
And that's one of the things about Masters hockey too, isn't it, Ian? I mean, I've heard many stories along those lines of just playing with the same collection of teammates year after year, going back many decades, and it's just a great way to stay engaged with the game and keep in touch with your mates.
When I started playing the Masters comp here in Sydney, the year I turned 40, which was the age limit back then, went out on the field and saw guys from other clubs and other unis I hadn't seen 10, 15 years, and renewing friendships from uni games or club hockey that you played against. It's just a great community, As all the promotional material from Hockey Australia says, it's a game for life and you can continue playing it forever. We've got someone in our Sydney Masters comp who is 84. Still getting around really well. Dave Webster, if you're listening. Stuart Farquharson there. A nice carry. He'll knock back that Sasha Overhoff, the Swiss rep. He was instrumental in UTS winning the Sydney Cup Grand Final last year in the Sydney Comp. Very strong player and carry the ball at centre half. I think he's got a son coming through the rep ranks too, Sasha. I think in the maybe an under 18 level for New South Wales.
Yeah, I believe so. I understand he's quite a good prospect for the future.
And a real family sport has been always throughout the last century. You'll see a name coming through the rep ranks. If you're paying attention to Hockey New South Wales social channels, you'll see the state teams or the Blues teams, the second teams, and you'll see a surname. You go, that's got to be so-and-so's son or daughter. And often is. We've got 2 minutes to go in the first quarter. Internationals with another press up high here. Oh, there's a nice ball to the baseline. Just bobbled a tiny bit. Kevin Rule in good position, but couldn't trap it dead. Just a slight bounce on that. Kevin originally from South Africa. Played for their under-21s in the early 80s. And multiple state and Australian rep. They had a lovely pick-up on his single-handed backstick trap upright. Well read there. Catch who that was. Alan Charlton from Briars. That was a good pick-up. Now here we're away. Down the left wing. Brian Doughty looking to hit Noel French. It is. It is Noel out there. Noel's a legend of Masters hockey. And his son Darren plays for Barbarians here in Sydney. Finally won their first Premier League premiership last year. Oh, that's a lovely ball through. First time shot. And a second chance. Oh, just a little bit out of practice early in February. I'm sure they'll might want to be like Rodney Hogg getting bowled one time and going home and saying to the family, just scrub that from the tape, please. But the rest of the game I'm happy to look at. Just always hard when the ball's running away from you and trying to hit across your body. Good opportunity there to equalise as we come into the last minute of the first quarter.
Sasha again.
He sets up so much. Oh, that was a beautiful shave pass when everyone thought it was going to come across to the right. Just checking who that was. Dom D'Souza, yes, from Manly Gordon, from the UK origin. Dom with a beautiful shave pass to Kevin Rule, who slid it across the right post, just out of reach.
Yeah, I think the internationals team talk at half-time should be get your sticks at the post. It's the second time the ball's gone past basically an open net.
You can know how it is early in the season. The mind is willing, but the flesh is sometimes a little weaker than it is later in the season when you've got some hockey fitness under your belt. I'm sure a few more games under the belt, there might be a bit of a dive or a slide at the post. Pop that in. That's 1-0 at quarter time. A lovely goal from Brett Livermore, a slap from the top. Go in, and they'll swap over again. And we'll have the young guns on for 8 minutes. So 1-0 at quarter time. Reasonably good speed and pace of the match.
Yeah, look, I know for sure that not everyone out there is in good fitness, but they're all in pretty good touch.
People talk about muscle memory as a scientific concept, and you can see that there straight away. Our Sydney Masters pre-season 3-week competition starts tomorrow night here at Olympic Park. We're looking forward to that. So looking forward to another year starting. And then our Sydney Masters comp starts the first week of March. The local club competitions will start the last weekend in March, I think, and a lot of the regional comps will start probably first week of April or a little bit later. So hockey's underway. The Pro League sort of kicked it all off. It's been going since Wednesday. Over on the Olympic pitch later, we've got the Australian men against Holland. They were very impressive the other night, the new look Australian side, 4-2 winners. And the Australian women, I think, have got China again. They had a draw the other night and won the shootout, having lost to China in the quarters at the Paris Olympics. The men also being outed by Holland in the Olympics. It was very rare for Australians to miss out on both semi-finals, but these things happen, and a period of reflection, a period of great change too, where long-time legends of the game retire after Olympics and new blood comes through.
Yeah, you're right, and that younger new group, I mean, they're playing with basically no inhibitions. They're playing a lot of exciting hockey, really taking the game on.
My first thought was they could be in for a bit of a hard slog, but they played, yeah, as he said, with no inhibition, with really expressing themselves. And Australian hockey, as opposed to some of the more structured continental European hockey, Australian men's hockey and the women's for a long time too, has been about freedom of expression and really letting the ball do the work and playing with that freedom to create, and it was been so good to see so far.
Yeah, we'd sort of lost that identity as an international team in maybe the last 6 months to a year, and I don't know, I felt we were just missing that edge at the last games.
We definitely were. We just, I've seen it quite a lot of times where, and you can understand the pressure on the coaches to deliver a goal, especially in the men's side where we've only won one. Do you pick this guy who's the excitement machine, but might not deliver on a regular basis, or do you go with a solid, unspectacular player who can't get you that miracle goal when you need it? You wouldn't want to be sitting in the selector's chair when the decisions are so tight. But generally, on the whole, I think we have erred on the side of caution, with the great benefit of hindsight, of course, too many times, and only got the one goal to show from it. That's gotten through. Stu Farquharson. Oh, sorry, we're back to the young guns. Another nice play from Paul Newton, just square when he had played just behind and just in front.
Alex Jones through the middle for the internationals. Overhead on the run, cut off by Alexander.
Oh, that is a massive flat stick. Simon Orchard it was up there, yeah. So that's a massive cutout from Dougal, horizontal back stick.
And of course, he was cutting the pass off to his teammate in club hockey, Tesh Kanoya. So certainly, when you're chasing Tesh, to watch for the long pass.
Crabbing in, still got it. Nice little shave and saved. Just a bit of a collision at the top of the circle there earlier. Really is good temperature this, just nice breeze blowing. Be nice on pitch, bit of a cloud over now, so just a little bit of a respite from the sun.
It's one of those days where the cloud cover takes about 10 degrees off. It
certainly feels that way. Oh, there's a nice play down the left-hand side too. It's a very aggressive tackle there from Cody.
So I understand we are
so they know about you.
joined now by Ambassador for the Australian side, Simon Orchard. Simon, hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, guys. How good is this? 1-0 up and defending with a lot of vigour at the moment, our side.
There was a decent clash on the top D there, two players running into each other, no harm done, but it just goes to show that at Masters level, they're very keen to have the ball and not let the opposition have it.
Honestly, I'm surprised by the serious nature of the benches down here. The world side are up and about. There's a lot of communication, a lot of boisterous nature from their side. Our boys a bit more steely determination as the chief, Brent Livermore, gets forward again.
There's a beautiful ball, little one too. Oh, early season bobbles. Good opportunity there, and internationals break free.
Simon, did anyone put in a call to you to pick up the stick for the Savos game?
There was a couple of calls, fellas, but my playing days at the moment are just temporarily halted. I did see a bit of Denker getting around, though. If I was going to get out on the pitch, I'd need a truckload of that. But isn't this a wonderful initiative from Greg Kay and the team, seeing so many, familiar faces and friends going head-to-head out here, having fun and showcasing Masters hockey as Brent Livermore just continues to flourish through the middle. Honestly, guys, it's such a wonderful concept, and it really is a beautiful sport. I'm talking to people down here on the bench about the nature of hockey as a sport. You can play from the earliest age to 60 and 70, and it really is a sport for everyone. And It's part of what makes it so attractive to so many people, right?
We just made the comment up here, Simon. We've got someone in the Sydney Masters comp who is 84, Dave Webster. And
that's unbelievable.
I'm exaggerating here, but I could say he shot me a text wondering why you're not playing, Simon, at your ripe young age.
I'm pretty sprightly, but I tell you what.
Here's a breakaway. Can they get the 2-on-1 set up? There it is. Oh, just bobbled. That cross just bobbled a tiny bit and allowed it to bobble onto the keeper for a save.
Now, that is pure rust from Tesh.
That is.
You give him 3 or 4 more weeks. You know, he's not missing that again this season. So, Simon, we've got a bit of a, I don't know, for our purposes, a curtain raiser for the Savos Kookaburras Netherlands match. What are you hoping to see from the green and gold later on?
Oh, I think it's been quite obvious, fellas, that over the last 4 or 5 days in particular, it's about replenishment and rejuvenation for the Australian sides, especially the Kookaburras. 8 debutants, fellas, as Australia go on the attack again.
Look like Robbie Muir there. That was a lovely pick-up on the back stick.
A great save as well from Painter in the net, who's looking
long time
bit his age.
Sorry to interrupt, Simon. Long time Manly Gordon player there, Robbie Muir. Played for New South Wales. I was just thinking your young age, Simon, and given the region that you come from and the Australian Masters Nationals in Newcastle this year, are we going to see you in blue later this year at any stage, perhaps?
I'll tell you what, this guy with the ball now, Cody Tribe, twists my arm every year to try and get me to come along. I've yet to relent, although every year he gets more and more persuasive.
If you need a personal trainer to get you in shape, he's the guy to go to.
He's helped me before, believe it or not, Cody, with his fitness business model.
He's appealing there. I think he got legged accidentally and got the decision the wrong way. But we're playing this in good spirit today, so he's being very gentle.
Oh.
There's Rust again on that one, Tesh.
I tell you what, boys. Fun fact about Tesh, he coached me at under 15 level for Newcastle, and I haven't seen him in 23 years until today.
That we were just saying earlier on the commentary with Lachlan how good it is in Masters hockey. You might have had a break to have kids or not seen someone since university days or school days, and you come and play Masters hockey. Oh, so-and-so's here, Jimmy's here, Jacko's over there, haven't seen you for ages. Those friendships get renewed, and it just gives you that more vigour and reason to keep playing.
Oh, you're spot on. It certainly helps as well that there's plenty of icy cold Hawkesbury Brewing Co. beverages to be had afterwards.
Here we go. Oh, nearly snuck in. Just hoping to blindside the keeper there. That was another good carry. So we'll have a long corner. We're 7 minutes into this quarter, so the 35 to 49-year-olds have got another minute. It's just a little bit soft from Paulie there and turnover. They've got a minute to make an impression here before the older guys do the big NFL-style team swap.
Boys, I've got a question, if you don't mind.
Sure.
How do we rank on the world stage as a Masters country? I know there's a lot of different age groups, but how do we sort of rate on the international scale?
Lachlan might be better placed. GK, our organiser for today, and Maestro at organising these sorts of events. We might get him on the mic a little later just to put in perspective, or Carolyn Campbell. We had a reasonably good tournament last year in South Africa and New Zealand. Because the tournaments are so far away from Europe, some of the European countries didn't always come over. So we go pretty well in Masters hockey. We had some gold medal winners last year. Oh, sorry, we've just...
We haven't worked out if this is offense or defense yet.
That's Dave Campbell in the background. Dave's one of the absolute legends of Masters and club hockey right from club Norwest through to Australian level. His wife Carolyn's been managing teams for years.
Dave said, here come the Rolls Royces.
Well, speaking of Rolls Royces, I can see a few silver ghosts out there and a few, or grey ghosts and silver shadows. Yeah, so we handle we go pretty well at international Masters level. It's all user pays at Masters level, so don't get funded by any of our state or national bodies. So it's really available to those who can pay their own way to go over. But having said that, we do pick pretty strong teams just about every year. Oh, Kevin Rule with some great skill there. Dom D'Souza, number 5, with the green headband, playing a centre half role. Very experienced. Noel French in his head on right wing. It's Harvey Singh, I think. If you work at UTS, he's your paymaster. Revel Waitman, another one of our strong South African contingent, number 8 with another one with a green headband. The good strong South African contingent in Sydney Masters hockey. Oh, lovely little eliminate. And GK himself with a flat tackle. Noel with a bit of ring rust again there. That's Simon. Have you watched much Masters hockey?
I've got to be honest, fellas. I am inundated with content from the boys around my age. There's a big Norwest Strikers flavour through the Masters teams. One of the club sides, obviously, here in Sydney. And Cody, Lee Cormack, Stu Fletcher, those types of guys, whenever they go away, it always looks... To be honest, I see a lot more socialising than hockey on these trips, which is right up my alley, if I be frank.
Well, the number of hours in a day, there's a lot more time to socialise than there are to play hockey. So you go away state champs, you get 2 games a day. There's a lot of time to be friendly and social in between. And that Norwest Sydney team does have quite an imposing record in the over 34 state championships. Oh, nice cross there.
Yeah, I mean, as a recent 34-year-old myself, and having just about to start my second season of Masters hockey, it's a really good quality comp, and you get a great balance between hard, tough hockey, but also just having a good time away from the field. So if you're north of 34 and you're 50-50, it's worth just dipping a toe in the water and seeing if you enjoy it.
The Newcastle, not just the Sydney comp, the Newcastle Hockey Association has a Masters competition as well.
You've hit the nail on the head, Lockie, I reckon there. I'm very much on the fence in terms of whether to throw my hat in the ring for this sort of thing. It's not. It's probably pure laziness, to be honest, the reason I haven't. But the social factor, as you get a bit older, certainly becomes a fair bit more important for me than maybe the competitive nature. It's not that you don't want to win, but you're right. Seeing people here that I haven't seen for a couple of years, Dougal Alexander, former teammate, Brent Livermore, obviously, former teammate, international level. And I imagine I'm going to miss the best part. I've got to go and work the games in about an hour's time, and these boys will be in the bar having the time of their life.
So what you're pondering, Simon, is what I often ponder a lot of mates who haven't played for a while. I'll say, if it's a binary question where if you have the opportunity to play hockey, would you like to play hockey or would you not like to play hockey? I think the answer of most person would be yes. Well, that can be managed either. If you can play weekends, good, but if not, then there's Masters hockey in Sydney. Apologies if I've left out any other associations, but Newcastle have a comp as well. And even if you play weekend hockey is the only option you have, we have Masters State Championships in New South Wales in 5-year age groups. This year it drops by a year to line up with international. So 34s, 39s, all the way up to the old over 70s, which is over 69s this year. So if you want to get that social atmosphere and a good bit of hockey, come away to a state champs. Get in touch with your local association and come away and have a weekend away. You won't.
What are the rigours, boys? What are we looking at on a daily program? Is it a 3-day state champs? Can you tell me a bit more about how much my body's going to hurt if I did it?
It's a 3-day champs. 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday. If you make the finals, depends how many. If there's 10 teams in a division, you'll play 2 pool games Friday, 2 Saturday, a semi and a final Sunday. So if you make the final, it's a pretty long weekend. If it's an 8-team division, you'll play 2 games Friday, a pool game Saturday, a semi Saturday, and if you get through a final. There are ice baths, Denka rub, cold packs applied on a regular basis. But it's good to keep up your fitness, and often if the state champs are in early in the year in your age group, it's a very good way to get match fit very quickly.
Depends on the number of teams, though, whether your halves are 20 or 25 minutes as well. So, you know, you could play 5 games in the weekend, but it's not 5 lots of 5 by 2 by 35, you know. So you're not going to be too knocked up by the end of it.
Every team at the state champs is guaranteed 4 games. That's the way it's run. So if it's an 8-team division and 2 pools of 4, if you don't make the top 2 for the semis, you get a playoff match 3v3 or 4v4. So if your tournament ends on the Saturday and you've booked your ACOM for Saturday night, then you can have a couple of quiet beers Saturday night with mates and either head off first thing Sunday or hang around to watch a high-quality final. But in terms of the standard, it is a very good standard of hockey, and some people go, oh, Masters hockey, what, you're just walking around or something, or Zimmer frames. Well, come out and have a look at a state championships or the Premier League in Sydney and watch the standard of Masters hockey. You'll be very surprised just how strong it is. We're into the last minute of the first half with the older age groups, the over 50s. The Australians still up 1-0. There's a little bit of a bump there, a little bit of pinballing going on. Some nice skills from Pete Cooner by the look of it, and a shot.
Oh!
That looks like it's hit Stu Farquhar and stick for a rebound. I think there might be a polite question here as to whether the shot was missing and in fact was dangerous to the defender. But if the defender's behind the striker, it might have been overturned.
Yeah, it looks
like it has been. Yeah, it looked like the shot to me was missing. If it's dangerous to defender, then it's pulled up. If the defender's a couple of steps behind the attacker, might be allowed because there was no actual danger. So 1-0 it remains at half-time. Thanks for the chat, Simon. Good you're here. Enjoy the commentary tonight. And this won't be the last time you'll have people in your ear encouraging you to come and play Masters hockey.
I appreciate it, fellas. I really do. Godfrey Phillips is desperate to get on the mic as well, so hopefully you can have a chat to him in the second half.
Thanks, Simon.
Hooroo, fellas.
Welcome back to the third quarter and second half of this Masters exhibition match. It's Australia with a 1-0 lead over our world side, courtesy of a strike by Brent Livermore in that first quarter. Welcome back, Ian. How are you enjoying it so far?
Thank you, Lachlan. Having a lovely time out here. It's a beautiful day at Olympic Park. We've got a nice breeze blowing through. So while it is a bit warm on the pitch, that breeze is keeping conditions comfortable. We've seen some pretty good hockey so far. Just repeating this format, the over 35 to 49-year-old age group are playing 8 minutes. Then the over 50s are playing 7 minutes. That's in each quarter. And we had started with the young guns having the first bit in each quarter. We've got the same again happening here. It's been a good pace of game. This is very early season. This will be the first game for most of these players. Some if they're playing first grade Sydney or second may have started training, being early February, but it's been a pretty good standard so far. If it was April or May, it'd be a lot hotter, obviously, the quality of play. But as you said early in the commentary, just getting a little bit of rust. Oh, a very nice carry there. Play some advantage. And nicely cleared by the Australian sides. Yeah. So the purpose of this game is just to showcase men's Masters hockey. We've got a thriving comp here in Sydney with 31 teams across 5 divisions. At a state level, we usually send away 16 New South Wales teams each year to nationals, age groups from over 34 to over 75. So it's a game for everyone. Look who that is, number 8, Brent Livermore, Australian Olympic gold medalist from Athens 2004, as a special guest player today. So apart from Brent, every other player appearing here today has played for New South Wales or Australia at men's Masters level. We've seen a good attacking ethos. We've seen a good attacking ethos from both age groups, getting players high. We're going to cross in just a moment to the dugout where one of the absolute legends of Australian hockey, Godfrey Phillips, is awaiting us. And I understand Lachlan has some funny old stories to bring up. Over to you, Lachlan, and welcome, Godfrey. Just checking if Godfrey can hear us over there. I can see him on the sideline.
Just while we make sure Godfrey can hear us, just backing over a point you made a little earlier, Ian, about how you meet people around the Masters scene. And
oh, that's been ruled from outside the circle, I think. Sorry to cut in there, Lachlan. That was a cracking strike. That's the second disallowed goal we've had in a couple of minutes. One to the Australians late in the first half. It was a cracking strike, and I think that was just marginally outside the D. Sorry, I'll back over to you, Lachlan, again.
Just saying, you meet people and you think, oh, is this that person's son? Is this that person's father? I was introduced to our next guest, Godfrey Phillips, a few months ago, introduced as Lachlan Morley, and he sort of thought about it and said, oh, was there a Morley who played fullback for Victoria or did this or did that? And I said, well, there was a Morley who played for Victoria, but who also played for and coached Australia. And it turned out that Godfrey, when he entered the Australian team in the 60s, was coached by my grandfather, Charlie Morley.
Wow, what a connection. I think I first encountered Godfrey at an under-11 invitational coaching clinic in Goulburn, where probably half a dozen, oh, let's see, there's a upright backs again, a little bit easy on it. Yeah, where Godfrey, Rex Hanslow, Paul Deering, I think a whole lot of international Australian players were coaching. And there were 100, 150 kids from around the state there.
Sorry, guys, we had a bit of difficulty.
Here we are. We've got Godfrey in now. You're in, Godfrey. We can hear you loud and clear.
Yeah, in relation to Charlie Morley, I was introduced to him in the early 60s, and when he had just actually stopped coaching the Aussie team and Arthur Sturgis, took over. So I had the opportunity of doing some training sessions under the great man, and I never knew what hard work was till I had a few runs under his belt. But how small is this world, eh? Here we have Rocky's grandfather and I crossed paths in the 60s.
Well, it's a family sport. I think Godfrey, you can better refresh my memory. He was at the Pierce family in the 50s or so, had 3 or 4 players represent
There was
Australia.
5 of them. There was 5 Pierce brothers that played for Australia, going right back, from 1956, the first Olympics that the Australians played at in Melbourne. And through that period of time, all 5 actually didn't play together, but certainly all 5 did play for Australia. 3 played together in 56, 60, and 64, and in 72, 3 other brothers, Julian, Eric, and Gordon Pierce. In fact, Gordon Pierce's 2 sons, the Harvey brothers, are playing in the Australian team later this afternoon. So there's another dynasty there.
Any of your children, Godfrey, playing Masters hockey?
No, Matthew's ready. Matthew is he's 41, but he did actually play Masters a few years ago in the Barbarians team in COVID, and they went through undefeated, that year. But because of his, here's another great goal. The national boys are doing well.
Starting to get
So he's had a crack at it. But Yasmin, as you were saying earlier, she's still playing great hockey. She plays with Southern, and they've gone up a division this year to second division with the women's hockey.
We'll just give a quick shout out to Moshe Nawaz of the UTS club for that goal.
It's a lovely, good firm strike. So
he's a beautiful player to watch. I was watching him warm up, and he hasn't had a tomahawk yet, but my gosh. And this guy's another good player, this Englishman. He's a very, very, very good player.
That's Alex Jones from Ryde, yes.
Who's had the most to say in the change rooms, Godfrey?
Thank you, Dave. We had to talk the umpire into that one.
Now, just if you can hear a bit of background noise on the benches, that was not dissent, that was disappointment, wasn't it, Godfrey?
It was.
So Lachlan just had a question there for you.
Yeah, who's had the most to say in the team chats?
In the vets, it's been number 7.
Oh, okay, all right.
He's been doing it. So I've played a very quiet role, actually, which is quite surprising to some of them.
And Godfrey, could you just outline for us your involvement and how long it's been in Masters hockey as well? I mean, we're well aware of your national and international reputation, but just Masters hockey, your involvement there. Well, we've got a little knockback.
I started back in '91 when the Nationals were in Townsville, and I wasn't playing Masters before that. But the only reason I played was because a good mate of mine, Noel French, who was in the Aussie side, I think they're coming on now, was playing, and I wanted to have a game with him, and that essentially got me back into Masters hockey. Had a bit of a break for a while, and then came back at about age 50, I think, to play, with the state side and the Australian side. So we had a few good years, both with the state side and the Aussie side. Love it, absolutely love it.
Couple of crucial words there, Godfrey. You said whether we've been trying to emphasise throughout this coverage. Came back at age 50. I love hearing things like that where people think, "Oh, I'm too old to play hockey again. I'm too old for it." You're not too old. You're never too old to play any sport at all. At a basic level or a nice low level, get back into it. You can take up anything at any age. If the body is able to do it to some degree, then you can get back into it again. And Masters hockey is how people reconnect that way too.
Absolutely, and I'd encourage all players, just don't walk away from the game, come back. I haven't played in the last couple of years, and for family reasons, but really I miss it. I miss the camaraderie, I miss the fellowship, and actually miss the running on the pitch. I wish I was out there right now, tell you the truth. How good are these older guys playing?
I know. So for anyone just watching that last passage of play, these players are aged over 50. So that's a pretty good standard for very early on in the season when there's probably been very little training.
Well,
And as Lachlan said, a bit of rust, not only in the legs and the stick work as well, but on the whole, it's been a pretty good exhibition so far.
Oh, it is. And you got Dave Campbell, number one, for the Aussie side. I mean, Dave just turned 70.
Yeah.
And I mean, what a great ambassador, for the game. He has done so much, for Masters hockey, as has Greg Kay,
and
who's been responsible for today, putting all this together.
Speaking of Dave and his wife Carolyn, also lovely to see finally a new hockey complex opening up at Box Hill. For anyone who's unaware, 2 fields out at Box Hill, northwest Sydney, an area that has been crying out for fields for a long time, and those fields come online this year, which is great to see.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going out next Saturday for the official opening of it. It looks absolutely magnificent.
Internationals pressing again. Oh, that's a lovely ball. Here we are.
Oh, hit the post.
Yes, a really nice flick, but the keeper was close by and the angle was shut down, but there's a corner.
Well done.
That's Brookie just getting caught up there. It's well played. And
it's taken us 3 quarters. We've been saying you've got to force penalty corners. We finally got one.
Our special ambassador for today, Brent Livermore, currently playing with the older age group out there.
Isn't he still beautiful to watch?
Oh, just so silky smooth.
Absolutely. There's Noel French going there.
There's Noel. Wonderful serve.
Andre, another good
big ball left. He's found it lovely at Brian Dowdy out there.
Oh, good deflection.
Jimmy Fordham, my goodness me, that is dessert.
Let's take a look at that replay.
Lachlan, take us through this goal, please.
Clever pass from Brian Doherty there, and Jimmy, look, fancy footwork and fancy skills, straight into the backboard.
There was a lovely slap from Andre Cabral way over on the right that found Brian on the left wing and then crossed in. Jimmy Fordham from the Briars Club here in Sydney, great servant of the game there. Just doing the, I don't know, what's that called? It's like the old French cut in cricket, wasn't it? Through the legs deflection. Completely blindsided the keeper. It's 2-1 to the Australians. We've had 2 disallowed goals so far, so it could have been 3-2. That came after a really good passage of play. Noel trying to put some pressure on Harvey Singh there.
Of course, Harvey plays with Noel's son Darren on Saturday's end in the Masters comp.
Harvey had a good stroll around the... But knows what he's doing. He's a very clever...
Didn't want to deflate you there, Godfrey, after the internationals had put such a good passage together. Just got caught on the counter.
Absolutely. And that's what's going to happen now. I mean, this is the first game for the year for these guys. So interestingly, there's quite a few players that actually played at the New South Wales Indoor Championships in Goulburn.
Okay.
But 6 or 7 of them arrived about 5 or 10 minutes before the game. Others played in the indoors.
Oh, this very same weekend, right? Okay.
Yeah, just come this morning. They've just come from Goulburn.
We'll forgive them if they don't have a good solid squat happening. Their hamstrings will be a bit tired.
Sasha here as well, number 17 for the national team. He played in the New South Wales indoor side as well.
Well picked up there. Dave Campbell and Peter Kerner just under a bit of pressure, but managing to win the free hit. We've got less than 2 minutes in the third quarter. Livermore with a lovely ball out right to Andre. Or Harvey just cutting in front of Jimmy there. Jimmy might be just dining out on that goal for a bit, and Harvey jumped in front. It's good to have you on, Godfrey. You've done so much for hockey for so many decades, and just a wonderful adornment to our game.
Thank you. Great job. Fantastic.
Yeah, Lachlan, as Godfrey suggested then, maybe some tired legs creeping in, a few gaps might it start appearing.
Yeah, it's looking that way. I'd say this third quarter has probably been 25% off the quality of the second.
But they have tried to play it at a decent speed though, which is good to see attacking. I didn't realise some of the players had been at indoor this weekend. Goulburn, as we know, has a really good indoor facility. They've had many state champs over the last few years. Often Illawarra was being used, but I understand the Illawarra complex is having repairs done. Oh, that is a goal. Pete Kuna trapping at the top D. Another ball from Andre Square and just rocketing it into the corner.
Yeah, look at this. Quality pick-up too on the reverse. I don't know if that pass is meant for Pete Kuna, but he owned it anyway. And that's a 3-1 lead to Australia.
Sure, Andre will claim the assist in that situation, like a shot that's missing and gets deflected in. No, that was good play. They've put two high-quality goals together late in this third quarter, just when the internationals are looking dangerous, and they'll go off for their final drinks break and pep talk in this Men's Masters exhibition game.
I'm going to predict it now. I'd say there's going to be a lot of ball carrying from a couple of players in this world side. I reckon, look, it's a friendly game if you're winning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's and there's a lot of competitive spirit.
And as everyone who plays hockey or any sport really knows, if you felt you've had plenty of opportunities to either be leading or at least drawing and you haven't put them on the board, it's a very frustrating game. It's just if you're on your laptop or on your TV, Chromecasting or streaming through that, just the cricket from Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka all out 231. Australia needs 75 to win the second test over there and make it a 2-0 clean sweep of the series. Pitch is really crumbling. We'll see, hopefully they shouldn't have too much trouble knocking them off. Looks like Webster took the last wicket there. Trying to remember, I saw a post somewhere just on cricket theme, but trying to remember the last time a bowler in the same game took a wicket with medium pace and with off spin. It might have been Colin Miller going back to the 90s. But, here we are at the hockey. We've got 15 minutes to go. We'll have 8 minutes of the young guns, as we call them, the 35 to 49s, and 7 minutes of the over 50s to complete this game. Thanks everyone for tuning in. It's been a lovely afternoon here. Very pleasant conditions.
I can't let that piece of trivia go just yet. I reckon the right answer, taking a wicket with both off spin and medium pace in the same test, it wouldn't surprise me if Mark Ward did that.
Quite possibly. He bowled a lot of mediums early, especially in one days as well. I was thinking Mark Ward. I know Colin Miller did. When he took Tasmania through to Sheffield Shield final about 30 years ago, he took a season record tally and easily identified by that shock of blue hair that Kevin Peterson later copied. But Miller would open the bowling with 3 or 4 overs of medium and then switch straight to the off spin. Versatility is a key factor, and in hockey it's also a very key factor. You need to be able to play right side of the field, left side of the field, and the modern game is a lot different to the old days when you were purely a fullback or purely a centre forward. You need to be able to play, if you're a forward, you need to be able to play, rotate through striker, an attacking midfielder, or a zinner as it used to be called. And with unlimited interchange and 16 players per team, you get plenty of opportunities to have a sub, so you can play every position on the field in the space of one game. Very leisurely hit off there. I'm sure the green and gold team will be happy to have 15 minutes of keep-offs. Wind the clock down. Let's see if the internationals in red can pull something out of the fire here. There are 2 goals behind. We'll turn over here midfield. Jones has it. Lovely through ball. Oh, Dash, that's 3 good chances he's had today. Paul Newton receiving out wide. Be a thrill for these guys to be playing with someone of the calibre of Livermore. We all remember the heartbreak of Sydney 2000 and the penalty strokes. Oh, ball through to Robbie Muir. Drags the keeper, knocks it back. I think that's been voluntarily given up as a short corner. Yes, the heartbreak of Sydney 2000 when Brent was the only player to miss the penalty stroke in the semi-final against Holland. Holland going through and winning the gold medal on penalty strokes, but you can only imagine the relief for Brent when in Athens 4 years later, Jamie Dwyer cracked that penalty corner hit in. Great to have Brent as an ambassador here today. Here's a chance for 4-1 from the Aussies. Mr. Cody Tribe lays it off to Newton, through just out of reach of Muir. He's going to keep the ball high here. Oh, that's a lovely ball. Kuna receiving on the outside. He just scored the last goal. He's got very good close stick work. Needs to be careful, doesn't get caught shielding the ball. Another foot for another corner. So just some of the rule variations we had for this game today, in case you've tuned in late. All penalty corners. There'll be no direct shot from the top. The ball must go outside the 5-metre dotted circle. No aerials or overheads into the attacking circle. If it's drawn at the end, there'll be a little shootout. Oh, that's lovely. Worked beautifully and put in the goal. That's lovely, lovely little corner variation. 4-1 to the Australian side.
Let's take a look at that replay. It's Brett Giffen volleying that one past the keeper. 4-1 to Australia. Sort of just ping-ponging around in there, and he pounced on it opportunistic fashion.
Well, I have to say, Lachlan, the team that has jumped on their chances is the team that's well in the lead and looks certain to take this game out. They've had one disallowed goal each, so no grumbles as far as that's going to go. Oh, that's lovely layoff. Regulation save on the angle, but well done to make sure it didn't come back out. Oh, that's a nice dispossess, and from the top. Oh, nice save with the left pad.
Surya again with the opportunity, one way then the other. Oh.
Thought he might have had a second shot there. He opted to go the unselfish route. A quick rabbit-killing squeeze might have been the play in hindsight. Oh, look at that. Even though it's gone through a player, it's still the same line. Nice pick up from Kuna. That took a deflection from Harvey Singh, so that was nicely picked up on the back stick. Top D. Early season, just leaning back on that and cold topping it. He's tapped his stick. He knows he's frustrated there.
Too much time almost. He sort of needed it right in front of him like the last one. Giffen there just missing the opportunity to pick up a second in as many minutes.
Dougal Alexander having a little ghost up in the forward line there. It's 2-on-2 now as internationals break. There's a huge lead high from Mark Berwick, our sponsors of today's game, and if I remember rightly, Mark Berwick was I think he was New Zealand Junior World Cup rep years ago. Very handy stickwork player, plays in the Sydney Cup, which is our second division for Manly Gordon. Got a really nasty injury down at Hobart last year at the Nationals, so it's good to see him back in good shape and playing. But again, another half chance for the internationals. Goes me, oh, that is very, very fancy from Pete Kuna. Look for the cross. No, it's gone deep. It's got caught in two minds, the high player there, whether to go to the spot on top of the keeper or whether to go to the baseline. Zigged when he should have zagged, or likewise for the passer. Australia looking really good here. Paul Newton trying the French cut. Comfortably saved. By Greg Painter, Sydney Uni keeper there, in goals for the internationals. There are two minutes left for the young age group. Nice work, Dougal, comfortably in the circle there, no miss trap. Brent with a rocket. Brett might just be a tiny bit gassed there. He would have relished that ball through to create.
Sharing it around.
Oh, nice shave. There's no one high for yellow, not that they need to be. Cody Tribe's gone high now, pulling back. Will be Muir's high as well. It's 5-on-5. It's like the game of training. Sorry, Brent, not today. not under our modified rules for today. You can see what he's doing there, which happens in the at very high levels, international and hockey one, just that overhead into the D.
Yeah, you knew it straight away too.
As you mentioned very early on, some of the older rules, the hand stop. So when I started playing in the early 70s, the men's and women's had, oh, look at that drag by Livermore there. The men's and women's had different associations and even different rules. So when I started playing, the women still had a roll in from the sideline when the ball went over the sideline. The men had a push in, everyone had to be 5 metres, the women had a roll in. Used to play with old leather balls like a white cricket ball. Of course, playing on grass fields in the old days when it got wet, it got very heavy. If you're having a trivia night for your hockey club, some stage during the year is a bit of a fundraiser or so, get onto one of the older players from your club and say, what were some of the crazy old rules? And put that in your trivia night, see if anyone gets it. Here's our changeover. So thank you to all the players aged 35 to 49. Their commitment for today is done, unless the internationals can score 3 goals. Thanks, guys, very much. The over 50s coming on now. So, Lachlan, before the penalty stroke became the action that decided a deliberate foul or a foul that was going to stop a goal, do you know what happened before that?
I'm pretty sure it was, well, basically a bully between one of the attackers and the goalkeeper.
Yes, it was a penalty bully, it was called. So it was a 3-over, hockey 1, hockey 2, hockey 3 between a striker and the goalkeeper. So I don't know whether the goalkeeper had to have some kind of gloves on or whether they wore them in those days.
Well, that was probably the time when goalkeepers didn't wear helmets even.
All they had was those old bamboo or cane pads, really, and a protector. This might be a good opportunity here. The internet, oh, just zigged and zagged. Sasha cut infield, the ball went out. See if the internationals can spark something here and get a goal. We're into the last, just counting down to 6 minutes. It's the Australian team up 4-1. The internationals have had some chances but haven't been able to put them away or just get the finesse. Here's a lovely deflection from Jimmy Fordham. It's a sprint between Harvey Singh and Brian Dowdy. Harvey getting there, toying with him. Brian trying hard, Harvey just outwitting him there. Dom D'Souza on the ball. This ball might transfer. No, it's just shut down. I thought it might go left there, but it's just been shut down by Noel French running back. Oh, that's a lovely overhead and receive. Right, just trying to check that number 10 for the internationals. Caderon Oakley from St George, originally from Vietnam. Played against him. He's got a lot of toe. Not much fun in the midfield chasing him. He's got real leg speed across the ground. Dom, on any other given day, that might be the naughty chair for 2 minutes.
I think it just about deserves the naughty chair now.
It might be a small fine of a cold beverage later from the team. One from Noel French, looking for a push into the D, just copping a foot. It's like Mark Brookfield there, up in the circle for a change.
Who's that for Australia getting one back?
That might have been Brookie
Brookfield,
there.
I think, yeah.
Square.
All right, that's one each. Let's just settle it down, guys.
Very hard man to get past, Brookie.
4.5 minutes left.
Apologies if you're getting a little bit of rustling in your speakers through the system at home or on your laptop. We've got a bit of a breeze upstairs here in pitch 2. Got a lovely view of the ground, just a bit of wind blowing through, which will be appreciated by everyone here alike. If it is no breeze, it'll be a bit humid. There's Jimmy Fordham with a turn at the top. Thought he had someone there. It's gone to Sasha. I know Sasha's got a lookalike, I think, out there. That's Roger van der Zand, Manly Gordon player, originally from Netherlands. It's his guess from the name. Kevin Rule's free in the D on his own. Just can't find him there, Sasha. Harvey's having a breather at the back. Well, a few turnovers now as players tire. Andre's free on the right, through the middle. He's had 2 very nice assists for goals so far. Stewart caught on the same line as Noel French there. Should be available for a little one too. If you've been watching this and you enjoyed it and you haven't played hockey for a while, go to the Sydney Masters Hockey website. We'd love to see more players coming back from breaks in the game. If you've been busy with kids or family or work or something, we've got a midweek competition. Tuesday and Wednesday nights here at Sydney Olympic Park. What a fantastic facility, Lachlan, that we get to play on every week.
Yeah, excellent, well-maintained, well-run venue. Plenty of parking around, accessible from all corners of the city.
And sadly, unlike some Olympic host cities, a wonderful legacy venue, 25 years later, still being used all day, every day on weekends. And every weeknight it's in use as well, pretty much from 6 o'clock till 10:30. So no white elephant when it comes to hockey here. A little bit of trivia as well. From the Sydney Olympics, if you ask a question, which sport sold the second highest number of tickets at the Sydney Olympics? Obviously athletics is number 1, with 100,000 seater, the main stadium. Oh, that's a lovely little deflection through on Kevin Rule just wide. So the Olympics seating 100,000 for 7 nights is obviously going to be the big seller. It was in fact hockey, sold the second highest number of tickets. There were 3 sessions per day on most days, and they had temporary grandstands in, so it held 15,000. So a lot of people went swimming. Well, swimming's only a very small venue. So
yeah,
hockey.
Swimming would have been my guess. Well, I'm proud to say that I was one of those ticket holders. Although I was only 10 and unfortunately not really able to appreciate how lucky I was at the time, and what a great event it was to be a part of.
I was fortunate enough to be working in the media for Sydney Olympics and saw a lot of games there. And I remember the Hockey Roos, just as we count down to the last minute, Hockey Roos had a second round match against the Netherlands that was finishing about 10 minutes before Kathy Freeman's 400 metre race, and I had an offsider working with me, and I said, Hockey Roos won that game 5-0 and could have won by 10. I remember saying, Sharon, are you okay to do the pitch side interviews? I've got to go and see a man about a dog. I was actually telling a fib and a white lie, because I went back to the media centre outside the hockey fields and watched the Kathy Freeman race on the TV, and from inside the demountable building at the hockey centre, you could hear the roar from the Olympic Stadium 500-600 metres away when she crossed that line to win gold. Every Australian there, and all the internationals as well, pretty much. I think we all had something in our eye that night when she won, because it was just a great moment. Here we are with the last play of the game. The Australians have a short corner. That is way too high for a Tommer on a... Oh no, because it went outside. That's quite legal. I'm getting caught up in the rule change as well. 4 seconds to go. I think they're happy to shake hands. It's the Australian Invitational Masters side 4 defeating the International All-Stars 1. Lachlan, what did you make of that early season game?
Oh, look, I think a lot of them will be grateful for some run in the legs and just polishing off their skills. Yeah, but really good spirits from both sides. I'm sure they've all really enjoyed it, and I'm sure they'll all make their way over to watch the Kookaburras take on the Netherlands shortly. We'd
like to thank Hockey Australia Masters, Sydney Olympic Park Authority for their cooperation in putting on this venture. Luke Domro and his team, the family, for the live stream, doing a wonderful job. They also live stream our Sydney Masters Hockey Grand Finals in September each year. Our Sydney Masters President Greg Kay, who's done a mountain of work to get this game up and running, bring people out here. We've got a good crowd watching the game here, families of the Masters players involved. we are looking forward to going and seeing some top-class international hockey at the Pro League on the adjacent Olympic pitch in just 1 hour. So I'm not sure if we've got any presentations happening. I might just check with Luke if we've got any prezos happening. It's been a nice afternoon. It's early season. The players, I'm sure, will have a nice cold drink afterwards. Get home in the ice bath on the foam roller, have a good stretch.